Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated is widely known as one of the best Scooby Doo shows of all time. And though I do enjoy it, there is one episode in particular that I have rewatched more than all of the others. The Grasp of the Gnome. Yes, this is by far my favorite episode of the entire Mystery Incorporated series. But with all the great episodes, how can this be? Well, for starters, Scooby-Doo and the gang literally go to a Renaissance fair, and the monster in this episode is a creepy little gnome that goes around freezing all the people dressed as pirates. Yes, the plot is that there are basically two factions at this Renaissance fair, those who dress as knights and those who dress as pirates. Lord Barry, one of the people in charge of the fair, is upset about the people dressed as pirates, as it is inaccurate and he thinks that people should only be dressing historically accurate. However, later in the episode, we see he is actually a hypocrite, as Scooby and Shaggy are spying on him and see that he secretly likes to dress up as a pirate. What I really enjoy about this episode is the whole fantasy flair with the creepy gnome and this knight and pirate hodgepodge running around paralyzing the pirates. I mean, I even made an entire no-budget movie about fairies with gnome in it. The color palette we see here throughout the fair is largely this burnt orange color that really makes this Renaissance aesthetic pop. It makes everything feel more cozy. And I love that whenever they enter the woods or anywhere where it's more dark, around or out of the fair, the color drastically changes to a midnight blue with spots of violet. After Shaggy and Scooby go into the woods, the gnome ends up getting Shaggy, and Scooby lets the gang know that Shaggy has been taken. When the gang goes into the woods to search for him, they find a tree with a ladder in it that comes up to bridges, making a whole tree expressway, as Velma calls it. Since they figure this must be the gnome's way of getting around the fair, they stage a trap with Scooby as bait, since he is dressed as a pirate. The trap was your typical hole in the ground with grass over it to make it invisible. However, the trap ends up not working and the gnome makes his way up through the trees with the gang hot on his trail. It really didn't work because the gnome didn't even go over to the hole at all. Scooby finds Shaggy all tied up on one of the tree bridges and unties him, and they all make their way after the gnome into the fair. The gnome finds his way on top of a barrel that he can't control, and winds up making his way back into the woods, falling into the trap. So, I guess in the end, the trap did work after all. When the gang unmasked the gnome, they find out it was the court jester named Gil Littlefoot, husband to the Queen Littlefoot. Apparently his plan was to frame her for the gnome attacks because she also didn't like pirates, and once she was in jail, he was going to run off with her fortune. And oh yeah, actually he was a lot shorter than we thought, as he pretended to be tall wearing stilts. This is why it makes sense for him to be the gnome in the end, and he was using toxin-coated gloves to touch and paralyze the pirates. This episode will always stand out to me in the bunch, as though it ends with a clue from Mr. E, and he even calls them in the episode earlier, I think this is a great one-off episode where, if you're just in the mood to see Scooby and the gang hanging around in Renaissance and pirate outfits at a Renaissance fair with a nice burnt orange color palette and a creepy gnome attacking people to top it off, then this is a great one to keep coming back to. I mean, I even remember coming home from work late at night, and I just put this and popped this in my PlayStation 2 and just watched it on my CRT and just enjoyed the heck out of it. If you'd like to see more videos like this, then please make sure to like and subscribe and hit the bell icon so you know when another video comes out. Until next time, this is Ligeia Raven, signing off.